I mean this from the heart, so this is my rant. I'm really sick and tired. I mean, really sick and tired, okay? And I'm like this white person of black people getting blamed for absolutely everything. This blame the victim baloney is such an easy cop-out for white folks. And as a white person, I am sick of this shit and tired of it. And I can't imagine how people who aren't white are. How would you feel if every single, and this is obviously asking white folks, how would you feel if every single thing that didn't turn into gold in your life was blamed on you simply because you're white? I'm guessing it would seem like everything you did, you'd have to work doubly as hard and just to get half as much credit. Imagine continuously being told by society that you're not good enough. I don't mean out loud. I simply mean the subliminal messages that you seem to be getting constantly is you're not enough. Doesn't matter how hard you try. Nothing matters. I don't think white folks could handle that. Imagine feeling like you're a burden on society when your own government is the one sabotaging you at every turn. Well, I don't know what it's like to feel this way, and I'm really glad I don't. The fact is, we are all susceptible to this white supremacist myth, and it's disgusting. It's this claim that the condition of the black community is really a result of their collective behaviors and flaws in character. Well, I have something to say. I think the flaws in our character, in our collective white behavior and beliefs. The flaw is in our character. And I'll say it again. The white myth couldn't be more of a lie. Yet this is what I think most white folks believe in. Because, how do I know this? Because I don't know most white folks, but we're so aloof. We have this no shits given attitude. It's how we act. We act like we think it's the fault of black people. That's how we act, so that's all I can say. So how do the white masses live with, how do we live with ourselves? Well, I came up with something. I don't know if you agree, but I hope you tell me. So, we just claim to not see the system of racism that's embedded in every single social structure in America. We pretend we don't see, but all of us, at minimum, subconsciously know what's going on. Jane Elliott has a simple test that proves. She asks her audiences, stand up if you'd like to be treated the way we treat black people in America today. And suddenly, white folks do seem to have some knowledge of this inequity. But here's the thing. We're raised in a society that bombards us with white is right. They're just making poor choices. So that works great for us. If they're doing it to themselves, then the blame is shielded from us. It's shifted from us to them. Therefore, we don't have to know our own racial history. We don't have to get to know a single black person well. We don't have to find out the truth about systemic racism. That we, white folks, maybe not us personally, but if we uphold it, if we do the status quo, we're the ones that caused it. Now, people might think, oh, you just hate white people. No, I expect more from white people. If we did this collectively as a people, however you want to put it, then we need to take some freaking responsibility. This is not rocket science. This is not hard to understand. We don't ignore what's before our very eyes. Now, but we like not having to stop and think about it. And best of all, we love not having to feel guilty about it. Because, since we didn't do it, it's not our fault. Yay us, wahoo. The truth is, our racial history is full of centuries of laws that intentionally, purposefully are created by white people to ensure that black folks have limited access to accumulating and passing on wealth, staying healthy, having living justice for all. I could go on, and I kind of might in a minute. I won't name all the atrocities, and most people already know them, but a lot of white folks don't. You'll see, if you're white here and you don't know what I'm talking about and you're thinking, who is this crazy lady? Just check out my videos, check out my beginner series. I have a beginner series called Anti-Racism 101, and you'll get it. Starting with the culture of enslaving another human being and pretending that they weren't human, which is what slavery is. I rarely call it slavery because I think that's almost a euphemism for, oh, it wasn't so bad. No, it's taking a human, being evil to them beyond human understanding and pretending they're not human. And that's kind of my definition. We're promoted and we benefit this legal ownership of another human, which allows our nation to become rich, and we still benefit from it. We committed crimes against humanity by mentally and physically abusing our fellow humans. We experimented on human beings. We systematically denied education to black people. We raped, murdered, lynched, torched, starved. I could go on and on. I am getting to a point, I promise you. Most people know this from their history texts, but the part that we can start with, that people ignorantly believe that the end of the emancipation of humans who were enslaved was the end of discrimination. And God knows why they believe that, but a lot of white people believe after emancipation, just try harder. If you're white, you gotta figure out. I have videos on it. The whole internet's filled with videos on it. After emancipation came an era that was one of the cruelest. I don't even know how to explain it without saying it. After enslaved humans were emancipated, came the beginning of the cruelest treatment to our fellow humans imaginable. We instituted black codes. I can't even name them all. It's like slavery by another name. That's actually the name of a famous book by Douglas Blackmun. The book depicts the age of what he calls neo-slavery, which is defined as an American a period in America following the Emancipation Proclamation, in which convicts, I put in quotes, mostly black men, were leased through forced labor camps operated by state and federal governments. It was legal. Okay? So we never just go with something because it's legal. Now, I use the word convict very lightly because these weren't crimes. The laws and black codes were purposely set up and were simple rules that made it impossible to live as a black person in the society. If you look up black codes, you can look them up online. It's mind equals blown. Then we had, I won't even get into it because I could spend 10 hours on it. We had Jim Crow, segregation practices that pretty much included everything. People think bus, well, think bus plus 1,000 other things. Hospitals, restaurants, where you live, schools, sports, stores. I could go on and on. Redlining was legal in America, which meant discrimination in loans and anything that would allow a black person to accumulate wealth and pass it on. Housing, this type of redlining, it's unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you tonight about a type of redlining that could start in our generation today. And I'll give you a little hint. It has to do with Facebook. And I just read about it. Maybe some people know, but I was blown away. I just learned it today. So we have the redlining with banks and realtors and neighborhood associations. And you can look at a lot of associations and you can see today that they actually still have laws in their bylaws that say no black people. I don't know how they put it, but people just don't bother to follow them. But you can still see that today. We discriminate, of course, systemically in our justice system, our education system, our health system, police training, and that's just to name a few. I'm skipping tons. White folks today think, and I'm not speaking for them all, but I've been a white folk a long time. They think that racism and discrimination are burning swastikas and people saying the N-word and wearing sheets. It is so much more sophisticated than that. Newsflash. Today, we use technology. We wear suits and ties in order to discriminate based on race, income, and any other category you name. According to The Atlantic, and this is my blown away, Facebook secured a patent about how to analyze, stick with me here, it's kind of strange, a patent. They got the rights to this invention, how to analyze a user's friends network. Let me explain, because this is weird. And this was a couple years ago. This is a quote from the patent that Facebook owns. When individuals apply for a loan, the lender examines the credit rating of members of the individual's social network who are connected to the person. if the average credit rating of the person and all the people they know is at a certain minimum score, then the lender continues the process with the loan application. Otherwise, the loan application is rejected. Now, they own this patent. There's no proof they've ever used it. But I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Think about that. That is basically redlining using our own social media, because the statistics, I mean, it's just like, it sounds a lot like Cambridge Analytica. It really does. It's unbelievable. Now, they have this, and whereas a lot of people certainly doubt that it would be legal to do, they have a patent for this. Somebody actually thought about that. And you know how I feel about Mark. Yes, we're on a first name basis now. Unbelievable. Everything I learned just keeps adding up. Well, according to the Atlantic, the patent, and this was in a bunch of newspapers, the patent would let a bank analyze your Facebook friends when you apply for a loan. And if they're poor, then you don't get your loan. Okay? And if too many people are poor, sorry, you don't get it. And it has to be illegal, but they have a patent for it. So you've just heard an example of how redlining has been modernized to discriminate in our lovely modern times. So let's get back to how we white people love blaming, and this is still my rant. It's a little bit of a long rant, so bear with me. We enjoy, either subconsciously or otherwise, blaming white people for the things that we have imposed upon them. Regarding the COVID-19 virus, have I been pissed off? There is one reason, and one reason only, that black folks are other people, and other people in numerical minority groups are dying in extremely disproportionate numbers compared to their population. And that is called systemic racism. And when I heard the man, Surgeon General, talking, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it, because I was waiting for him to say systemic racism, systematic racism, something, just anything. But no, he talked about don't drink, don't do drugs. I mean, he played into the classic stereotypes that white people love to believe. I mean, that was a gift. And I am not judging him. That really, really just, that irked me so badly. I want to know what you think about it. Historical economic injustice, discrimination in healthcare and every other area of life has created the conditions that increase the morbidity of black people. And when we have a pandemic, it just is exponentiated. And that is disgusting. There is nothing wrong with black people that dismantling systemic racism wouldn't solve. End of rant.